Hmm. Hey everybody, give us 1 second to get set, and we're gonna. There we go. Okay.
Post to Facebook.
All right. Hey everybody,
Hey.
welcome back to another Nature's Always Right live stream. Today I'm here, joined by my good friend Blake Reimer, Tennessee Mountain Farm.
Oh, you got to pronounce it the right way.
How do I do it?
Tennessee Mountain Farm.
Oh yeah, he's
It's
got a whole jingle.
like
You never forget his
it's
farm
the
name.
way it is.
So today, guys, we're just gonna be hanging out. We had my pig, a couple of his pigs went to the butcher. We got all that meat back, and now it's time. We smoked it. We're 3 weeks after the curing. Now we're going to be smoking everything on a real, legit smoker here with real hickory wood from his farm. So we're gonna have a lot of fun out here
At
and
least
just
hardwood. It's hardwood.
yeah,
Maybe it's probably hickory.
oh yeah,
There's bark on it. We're gonna get smoked.
it's fancy.
Yeah.
So we also got the chat up here, guys, so we can like hang out with you. So let us know
This
if
is
everything is working correctly. And yeah,
okay.
so we're gonna be showing you guys about smoking meat, how that works. Does the volume work?
Mm.
I want to hear it. Perfect. Thanks, man.
Okay.
So then,
High tech over here.
yeah, trying to get better at live streaming for you guys. So, yeah, so all the smoking, telling you guys a little bit about how that works. Then there's gonna be kind of rest periods where we can go and we can show you more of Blake's farm. We can show you his pigs. Some of you probably have seen some of the videos I've done with Blake where we went to go get the famous Duroc boar from Cliff Davis.
Rambo.
Rambo. We'll go get to see him, and as well as his no smell pig pen. That was a really popular video because it's just such an amazing system. This Korean natural farming system. We'll take a look at that. I've actually put the link down for that video if you guys want to check it out, see more of Blake's farm, and hit link to his YouTube and his Instagram if you guys want to see
Like all
what he's up
three of
to.
my YouTube videos that are up there.
Yes,
All three of them.
he
You can
just
check them
started,
all
but
out.
he's doing all sorts of regenerative agriculture stuff on his family farm. Um, I don't know. You can tell some
Mhm.
of your story. I don't need. I can tell your
Oh,
story if you want.
I mean,
But
we can talk about that for a little bit. Sure.
yeah.
We were commercial broiler production for somewhere around 42 years on this farm.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad moved back here in 77 and built chicken houses in 79 and 80. Um, and then I was off in corporate world, but was able to come back 4.5 years ago with the goal of doing regenerative farming. But to get there, I had to pay off all the debt that was built up on
Mm-hmm.
this commercial broiler farm. And it just did not ever go away with them. So it took 45 months, but at the end of that, um, oh man, the numbers are crazy sometimes for like what I did in those
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Because on an average year, I was growing 600 to 650,000 chickens every year.
Crazy.
And the number of that is big enough that if you think about UT Vols Stadium, which I mean, who's not talking about Tennessee Vols football these days?
That's right.
Even farmers are talking about Tennessee Vol football somehow. But if you take about their home games, they hold a little bit more than 100,000 people. And so if you were to back tractor trailers up to the stadium, and as people walked out of there, every man, woman, and child got a whole chicken and said, "Here, you can go home and cook that today."
That's crazy.
We could do that every home game of the year, and I'd still have chicken left over on this farm.
Wow.
Back in like the commercial, that's like the scale of
Yeah.
how
Feeding
big that
America.
was.
That's how America gets fed right there. And that's even. I mean, that's even. There's way bigger chicken farms too.
Yeah,
Than
yeah. No,
that, so
I was not even
it's insane.
when Dad built two more chicken houses in 1994. That's when we jumped up to 100,000 a year in production, and that was real big
Mm.
then.
Wow.
But we're four barns that hold 100,000. Now two barns hold 100,000, and a lot of farms are 12 barns.
Wow. That's by my house. There's a 12. There's a big one.
12. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
so much more.
yeah. It's insane.
You could feed all of SEC football, maybe.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
given Saturday
Yeah.
for that.
It's just like the
And
scale of
so,
these farms keep getting bigger.
but I did not like the lifestyle of commercial poultry.
Right.
And then I saw it as degrading to the community here because the money gets sucked out of the community instead of coming
Mm-hmm.
into a community. We barely had enough left over to even hire any extra help. But the gist of it is you had to do it all yourself anyway
Right.
to get by. And so, with the goal of if I could get out of debt, then I would turn it off and we would start growing animals here in a regenerative way
Mm-hmm.
and not in a reductionist kind of way that the commercial business is in.
Hmm.
And so I was able to do that by buying a bankrupt chicken farm
Right.
and flipping that into a production farm at a nice fair market value for around here. But doing that let me get out of debt here. And
Hmm.
now we are rediscovering a new cash flow of people
Yeah.
coming here to the farm and buying meat that we produce here on the land in regenerative ways.
Yes. It's
So,
really cool.
like a little intro of where we are here with this.
Yes. And you're 3 years in on like kind of changing everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Something.
3 to 4.
Okay.
Well, let's say 12, because 12 years ago, I discovered Joel Salatin videos on YouTube in one of my breaks of corporate world to be back here on the farm for a year or two and spending time watching him dragging chicken crates around, but making money doing it.
Hmm.
So I've been working towards a regenerative farm for like 12 years,
Yeah.
practicing for probably 3 years, because coming back, I just had to get my head above water for a little bit. And
Right.
so,
Yes.
but yeah, three years of real good practice.
But what I like about your story is the coming from the commercial family farm background. This is all you knew.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of the farms out here. That's kind of the same pattern I see is everyone kind of does what their dad or their grandfather did. And a lot of people don't kind of question the techniques that they're using. It's just like, this is what works. We're making money doing this. Um, but like, there's a lot more money to be made. There's a lot more quality to be had. There's
Yeah.
better ways to do things. And that's,
No, you have
yeah,
to pour dewormer on cattle or they'll die.
right.
Like if you don't do it, they're going to die. And
Yeah,
then a
stuff
few
like that.
years into like I don't use that stuff, and we really don't have to feed hay that much anymore. And
Yes.
so,
Hmm.
but at first off, all the neighbors are like,
Yeah.
I
What
don't
is
know
going
about
on?
this.
Uh-huh.
Especially what you and I are looking at here is an open field
Hmm.
where there used to be barbed wire fence everywhere here, but
Right.
using mob grazing and electric fence, we control the animals so much better now.
Hmm.
So yeah,
It's fun stuff. So like, yeah, what I like about what Blake's doing too is that he has this land. He's got all these commercial barns set up. He's got all this massive infrastructure. Is something going on?
no, I was just realized there are people commenting on this.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's live right now. I think it's working.
it seems to be.
Okay. Hey, give me a like. Hit the like, guys, and
Yeah.
W in the chat if you love farming, so I can see if this is working. Hey, Bradley's. Um, yeah.
Hey,
So
yeah.
Blake's doing a lot of cool stuff. I think that he's someone to watch for other farmers out there who maybe are in a similar situation where they have the family farm, they're getting it from their parents. They have all this infrastructure, but they want to do things a different way, or they've started to learn
Hmm.
some of this stuff from Joel Salatin and White Oak Pastures, and your mind has been open to there's a better way to do this. I just like watch Blake his transforming his farm, utilizing the infrastructure that was meant for something else, and then using it for more regenerative style practices. So he's going to be changing one of the houses out to a huge pig barn, a big
Yeah.
sow operation for his pigs,
An
and
indoor, no smell
yes,
pig
a
operation.
large scale. Thanks for the W's, appreciate it.
Hey.
So yeah, large scale, no, KNF style, no smell pig pen. He's doing raising chickens and broilers. He's gonna have pastured broilers eventually with movable coops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm just stoked for Blake.
Sheep.
And yeah, he
I have
already had
sheep
sheep.
now. One of the like everybody asks me all the time, like, what do you do with a sheep?
Mm,
Because there's just not a lot of sheep farmers really left anymore.
yeah.
Heard about Greg Judy talking about how the ranches in the West were really paid for by sheep and not cows, and now they switched to cows and they're having a hard time, and that makes a lot of sense. But I got sheep on here because I'm trying my best to break those cycles of just spraying a chemical to get rid of a weed
Right.
because of the ramifications of that down the road. And so I got sheep because they'll eat a buttercup in the field, and the cows won't eat the buttercup. So it's multi-species grazing.
Hmm.
But then I realized for every cow, I could have almost 8 or 10 sheep.
Right.
So instead of 15 cows, I could have 100 or 150 ewes and
Yeah.
still get the same usage. So
Hmm.
I'm considering not having cows on the farm except for maybe
Oh.
3 or 4 for family and friends.
Oh. This is new. I haven't heard this, you
Yeah,
guys.
but then really switching over to more of a sheep
Cool.
production model.
Sweet. Awesome.
Um, and maybe like that one birthing a year instead of trying to push for the one every 8 months.
Yeah.
But one a year and
Mm-hmm.
cycle through. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're
Sweet.
anyway.
Awesome.
It's something that we're yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Blake's
easier.
always changing things up on me. Blake's got
You
so
got
many good
to, man.
ideas. Yeah, Blake's is full of ideas. I don't know if you guys saw the little his pig water. I put it on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Just like a quick video about that. Just yeah, it's really cool. He always comes up with really neat DIY stuff.
We moved that today.
Oh, cool.
And then
Yeah.
the new place is I realized because the water's running down to
Mm-hmm.
the wet way anyway, but it's
Mm-hmm.
dry now. So I just put the water down in there. So if they
Nice.
made a mess, it's going to
Uh-huh.
be where the water's going to be anyway.
Yeah.
So
So who
yeah,
cares? Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a sweet water. Diego says sheep also produce a lot of bio pellets to fertilize. Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
great fertilizer. And
If it doesn't rain, they don't go away. I'm walking out here and we didn't get rain for 6 weeks
yeah, six
almost.
weeks.
We
Yeah,
had one little rain,
yeah,
but you could see where the sheep were laying.
yeah.
And because I'm moving them now every 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
3 days was they were eating anyway. I'm going to two every two
Every two
days,
now.
but the pellets around the field didn't disappear until after just this last rain,
Yeah,
and
they
now
take a
they
long time to
yeah
break down actually, but I kind of like that. It like seems like it spreads a little bit more easily, especially if it's in pelletized form. Whereas like the cow poop just like huge
right
plop of nitrogen, like it's really thick. Unless you have chickens to break it apart for you, you just get one solid area.
now
Um,
since he brought up that kind of fertilizer, which is natural fertilizer, and
mm-hmm,
fertilizer cost went up
mm-hmm,
300% on some people this year.
mm-hmm. All the synthetic
All the
fertilizer.
synthetic, right? Well, while I was growing commercial chicken and knew that I was going to be transitioning over to a regenerative way, I never sold any chicken litter off this farm.
Mm,
And so now I have 80,000 square feet of barn space
yeah.
with 8 inches of wood chips and chicken litter that's been
Mm,
composted 6 times a year for
mm-hmm,
the last 4 years. And
yeah.
now it's been dormant. And so we're about to, now that we got a little rain, I'm going to spread out
Mm,
that kind of chicken litter on the farm.
nice.
So it'll simulate like I had a pastured flock just going over the whole field in one time.
Right, and that's yeah, it's already composted, so it'll be absorbed
Yeah.
much more quickly than if you just dumped raw litter on the grass. So, well, I don't think people even do that, huh?
And now I
But
do get to do that because
yeah,
dad had a 18-foot buggy that can hold 7
right.
tons at one time and a 90 horsepower tractor to
You need
swirl it all around the
you
field.
need big
So
toys.
again, though,
Yeah,
like I had the infrastructure
right.
and I had the equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and so being able to do it now is not a lot of back
Mm-hmm.
breaking work. It's
Mm-hmm.
just load the tractor up.
I know that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's yeah, huge advantage. And one thing that we are gonna try to do with all that chicken litter, if if some of you guys study Korean natural farming, what can you do with a ton of manure? We can make IMO5 with it, which this is amazing for me because making IMO5 it makes sense on a large scale, right? I don't have the tools for that. Blake does. He has everything. So he has the manure. He has the thing to actually mix it and to lay it flat. So we're gonna try and make some like next level stuff over here. So
Are you talking about in
excited.
my opinion, or is there
What do you mean?
IMO?
IMO5.
Oh.
A Indigenous microorganism.
Oh, okay. In my
KNF. So
opinion, let me just tell you what I think about this. Level number 6.
yeah, we're going to number 6 now. There is a number 6, but let's go to 7. We're going 7. Yongun is asking, have you ever dealt with voles before? In San Diego, we only had gophers and squirrels. Yes, I just, you have to kill them. You have to trap them. The squirrelnator trap or the black hole trap you bury for gophers works really good. The gopher hawk is another good trap for voles too. My cats, though, my outdoor cats, they bring me a mole or a vole like almost every day off my
Oh,
property. So
I think
I'm
my
a big
Great
fan of
Pyrenees
cats.
track down things like that too.
Yeah.
But I did see
What?
some on the fence line up here, some
Yeah.
holes going under, and I'm assuming that may be what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Never.
mean, there's no way to totally stop all of them. What I've figured out is for rodents, you have to limit the population somehow. You need to
Mm,
be the predator. There's not enough prey here. Like, there's no coyotes. There's not many hawks, as many that are going to come here. This is like occupied land by humans, so that's not going to happen. So we need to be the predator, or you need to bring in a predator such as a cat, which I've done on my property, and I have like I have 5 or I have 3 outdoor cats, and then the neighbors have cats. So there's like no rodent issues at all. the squirrels get taken out by them and everything. So
We have a lot of hawks here.
hawks help.
And then because there are so many commercial barns just in the
Yeah,
area,
there's vultures
there's
everywhere.
vultures
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
And so
That limits. I think that is one of the things that limiting our
population
prey
of them.
population here.
But I have a red
So,
hawk, I think that's around the farm. I see them sitting on fence posts.
mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing, that rotationally grazing the animals around the farm. Um, for the first time, I'm finally seeing deer on my farm. We're sort of
Oh,
tucked in
cool.
some highways
Mm-hmm.
around us, but I think it's because it was either continuously grazed,
Mm-hmm.
and then the smell of the chicken house. Also, I don't know. We always have between ammonia and nothing to eat,
Mm-hmm.
the deer stayed away. But this year I've seen 2 deer on the
Nice.
farm for the first
Wow,
time.
that's
So
interesting.
45 years here, and I've never seen a
Wow,
deer here until this year.
that's so interesting that they don't show up because of the chickens or
I,
the smell of death,
maybe
maybe,
that,
or
maybe
something, or
that
the ammonia. Yeah,
lack
something
lack
about
of
it.
food too. Like the
Yeah.
cows were just
Oh, that's true.
continuous grazing the whole
Yeah,
time.
there's nothing for them.
So,
Interesting. That's cool. Well, there's
but
enough now for this. They're like, hey,
yeah,
there's something here.
but more
That's
rabbits,
neat.
and more rabbits brought more hawks.
Yep.
And then, like, yeah, more woodpeckers are around
Yep.
now for whatever reason, which seems to be a sign of really healthy woods.
That's
Um,
nice.
but yeah, there's a lot more animals coming around the farm now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're only chicken for 42 years,
Yeah.
just chicken, nothing else.
But man, I was feeding literally millions of people. Um, we got another. Oh yeah, just another great thing you guys said about the rabbit manure. Yeah, sheep, goat, bunny, llama, alpaca. All of those manures, you don't have to compost them. You can throw them in your garden straight away. There's no like risk of contamination from E. coli
Alpacas.
or whatever.
Listen, if anybody out here wants to buy some alpacas, I will take them on.
I don't know. I'm good on alpacas.
But I'm sure the cocoa bear, until I get the cocoa bears under control, alpacas would be just
Do they like
miserable.
that stuff?
It would stick into their
Oh,
hair. It
they'll
would just
soak them up.
mat into their hair.
Nice. Our barn cat caught and ate a rabbit this summer. You know what, Stephanie?
Oh,
I think that mine did too. Over by my mushroom area, I found a baby rabbit, and just one bite was taken out of the head. You know, it was like a small bite too. I think
yeah.
I think it was the cat.
Okay, I'm gonna check our
Yeah, we
fire.
gotta check the meat here. Hey, why don't we'll show you guys what's going on here. This is why I'm streaming from the phone, so I can show you guys. If you guys are having fun, hit that like button. It'll help more people see what we're doing.
Okay.
So this is a smoker that Blake's brother built, actually. Welded it all together.
Yeah.
And this is all just my pig here. So you got your bellies, right? Bacon. You got all of your ham. Ham's all up here. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, this will all be smoked. Then we're gonna slice it all, right? Slice the bacon, and then we're gonna slice the ham into just real nice pieces for breakfast or for whenever, right? So very excited about that.
I think we're good for about another 20 minutes on that fire.
Okay. So, oh, actually, I'm gonna give you guys my spiel about cured meat really quick, just because like I've never heard anyone talk about this before until I made my own bacon. I didn't hear this from anyone ever, so I want to mention this to you guys because it's pretty interesting, and it's got me to where I basically don't want to eat any cured meat unless I'm making it myself. So, so cured meat, right? So typically, like in the last 100 years or so, people will cure meat with what's called pink salt, and that has sodium nitrate in it. So it's a synthetic version. It's like a crystal chemical that they make, and that the idea of using that pink salt is to prevent botulism on meat. Botulism is a soil-borne bacteria. Typically, if you look at the stats, like botulism is happening from like like a nacho cart in America. Like 5 people died from a nacho cart. They were probably reheating the nacho sauce like for 3 weeks straight, right? And then someone ate it, immune compromised, and then got sick. Anyways, like the people that get sick or get hurt from botulism is like nil. It's basically nothing. So it's so from that perspective, it's not very dangerous, even if you were to consume it. But botulism will die at I forgot the temperature, but we're cooking bacon. We're smoking it too, so that's probably killing it. But then when you cook the bacon, now it's going to even a way higher temp than is necessary to kill botulism. So that's another reason. Then it's just the fact of like if you have clean hands and you're using food safe practices, the odds of that happening and getting it onto your meat and having it grow out and having you not notice, it's just so not possible. Anyways, so that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of what I learned about cured meat is the celery. So celery powder is the natural
Hmm.
alternative. It naturally contains the sodium nitrates. But what I learned is it's not sodium nitrate that causes cancer. It's the nitrates, once they're heated up, changes it to another chemical, and that is what in these studies shows cancer growth. Um, so what I learned is I don't want to use the celery powder because yes, it is natural, but it doesn't matter because it's still going to change it to that chemical that could then cause problems for me. So what I learned is the only true way to have nitrate-free meat is to make it yourself and to only use salt, just salt cure it, like they did in the past before we used sodium nitrate
We had sugar to ours too.
and a little bit of sugar too. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys that you can do your own research. This is from my own research. I had never heard this before from anybody out there, and I think it's just because nobody's made their own bacon before. Honestly, like any of
This
these,
is true.
all these
Yeah.
health people that we listen to, they've never grown out their own meat, and they never made their own bacon, so they don't know. So that's why I'm telling you guys. I'm like on a kick about telling people about this because I think it's so interesting.
Now, when you first came over and we were processing these bellies here and talking about it, I like having Stephen here because mom and I, again, coming from the commercial farming community, like none of this was ever talked about as to why. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I first bought my first book about charcuterie and smoking meats, there were recipes in there with or without,
Mm-hmm.
but I just use with because
That's the
what you're
common
supposed to
practice.
do,
That's what
right?
you're supposed to do.
Um,
Yeah. And
and
that's what the
then,
FDA requires. That's why all the meat in the
yeah,
store is that. But guess what? Celery powder is not controlled. They can actually use more of this celery. They can use an unlimited amount of celery powder. So you could literally be, you think you're getting a nitrate free meat, but you're actually getting more nitrate from the natural source.
oh, yeah,
That was another big thing too. Like
but
they could just lie. So, anyways,
the
yeah,
pink salt does make it look prettier to
that's
me. It's a get
that's
that
the other reason.
pinker hue. But
Yes.
I'll, honestly, like the one because we just tried some of this
Mm-hmm.
ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and mom said, "Oh, it's not as salty," which you don't want too salty of bacon. You
Mm-hmm.
want it to be savory, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we ended up here with.
Yeah.
Um, so super nice, but
I'm like really happy with the flavor too. So just
yeah,
oh, this is a good thing to yeah, Michelle. Himalayan salt was pink salt. Yes. Typically, like in the normal world, like in normal consumer world, if you say the word pink salt,
oh,
people are gonna
Redmond,
think
yeah,
you mean Himalayan salt. But if
hmm,
you're talking in the curing world, talking about pork and stuff, if you say the word pink salt, people are gonna really actually mean it's it is salt, but it's like 1% sodium nitrate
yeah,
or
pink
whatever the
salt number one or number two or something like that.
yes. So
There's a number to it.
you want to use high quality sea salt when you're curing, or just any. You only want to eat high quality sea salt. Period. You never want to eat table salt. You never want to have salt where it also has silica in it, or yeah, no
Yeah,
silica. Anything that's cut or has an anti-caking agent or any of that, you don't want to eat that. In case, yes, Redmond's salt, real salt
yeah,
is the best salt in America, right? Or at least maybe in the world. But definitely the Dead Sea salts, I think, are
something
probably
like
the
that.
best because they're not, they're free of any potential contaminants that are currently in the ocean. So take all that, take all this advice with a grain of salt as well. So what else did you guys talk about in here? Oh, why sugar? Stephanie's asking why sugar. It adds a little bit
Yeah,
nicer flavor. So the sugar and the salt, it's like it's drawing out moisture from the meat, and that's the purpose of it.
and then also instead of just sugar, some
Yeah.
people use maple syrup
Oh.
in
Oh
there, so
right.
they flavor like a maple
Yeah.
flavor. You can put herbs in there. Um,
So, yeah, we haven't tried
I
that.
just haven't ventured out. It
Yeah.
worked so good the first time
I
the way
know.
we did it. I was like, well, I
I
like
know.
that. I like that a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Here, one of the things that shutting off those commercial barns let me do is put in places where RVs can roll into the farm now
Hmm.
and stay for the night. There's a website called Harvest Host where people pay a membership for that, and then they can book for one night here. They're not vacationing; they're actually just traveling through. Um, and it turned out to be like the farmers market coming to me
Hmm.
is what it's been for that. But they all ask, why don't you have bacon? I'm like, oh,
Mm.
I do. No, I
Yeah.
definitely. I offer it. It's just sold out.
Yeah. Immediately.
Um, Yeah, immediately one of those harvest hosts bought a slab, like a
Dang.
whole,
Wow.
at $1 an ounce too. Like
Wow.
I'm no discounts. It's $1 an ounce.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, bacon. It's
Yeah.
good to make your own.
It's yeah. And I'm sorry, but the flavor is just so much better. I mean, than the store. It's not even comparable. It's just like when you grow your own carrots. Like the carrot from the store tastes bland.
Mm.
Um, yeah. It's just like any other food that you grow for yourself, you guys. It's 10 times better than anything that you could just buy, unless you're buying it from a farmer like us.
Right.
But good luck finding a farmer like us.
That's a tough one too.
There's more and more river trout farmers starting up and raising meat and doing stuff like this. So it is awesome to see more and more consumers interested, because ultimately, if we don't have the customers, we can't farm, we can't make a living doing this. So we really need you guys out there to buy from farmers like us too. So that's a huge factor.
You know, when can we talk about the price inputs of the kind of farming I'm doing now
Hmm.
versus
Hmm.
the commercial chicken farming?
Yeah.
Because they by law now have to give the settlements for the weekly stuff of what's going on, because so many lawsuits of them cheating farmers out of
Wow.
poundage of meats
Oh my god.
over time. We're talking about big corporations, and they're about the bottom
Wow.
dollar.
Hmm.
And so they would show me what the average cost of growing a chicken for that week was. And
Hmm.
then they would pay me if I could grow chickens more efficient, meaning could I
Right.
get less poundage of corn and soy turned into chicken, then I got a premium on my paycheck.
Hmm.
Um, Really, to some extent, they're like the bookies of a racetrack, because they're not going to lose money. One farm member is going to make more, but it's going to be taken
Right.
away from the one that does less,
Right.
because they have an average. But where I buy feed from Resaca Sun Feed Mill, it's a non-GMO feed mill down here, and I think right now we're at 31 cents to 29 cents
Okay.
per pound,
Hmm.
and that's not a bad rate. That's a pretty cheap rate for non-GMO local feed.
Hmm.
I think that chicken company pays either, it could be a penny a pound, but it might be a tenth of a penny a pound. Like they would send
Oh,
me 880,000 pounds of food,
yeah.
and they showed me their cost was $88,000
Whoa.
for that
Dang.
880,000
So they're
pounds of
paying
food.
30 times less.
Yeah,
Dang, that's
and
crazy.
then the chicken cost, I'd get 100,000 chickens, and
Hmm.
their cost on to buy those chickens from themselves, because it's
Hmm.
integrated,
Hmm.
was $22,000. So 2.2 cents per
Per
chicken,
chicken.
and I pay $2.20 to $2.40 per chicken,
Whoa. So they make a profit on the front and the back end.
all the way
The
through,
whole thing.
all the
Yeah.
way through.
That's crazy.
Um, so whenever their chicken, at the grocery store is $5, and my
Right.
chicken here is $6 a pound, which could
Right.
be $25 a chicken.
Hmm.
No wonder it costs that much. I'm not even making near the margin,
Hmm.
because the scales are so much different for
Right.
people trying to grow real food
Right.
as opposed to a subsidized kind of product.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
so
shocking.
there's some
It's
numbers
shocking.
too,
Yeah. We
like
should do an
the
actual.
commercial
We should do
chicken.
a video just about that. That's like, yeah. It's so shocking.
Now that I don't grow for them anymore, I can say those
Right.
things.
Yeah. When I
There's no
first.
way I could say that when we
Yeah.
first met each
No, I
other.
know. Yeah, I remember talking about it with you. Yeah, it's cool. You can actually talk about that stuff now. Yeah, chicken business is not a good business, or it's just you can make money at
You
it, but
can make a living there
it's
for sure.
so shisty. It's just so cutthroat.
But for
It's
this
yeah.
area too, when Dad started doing it, it was you could either go to a factory job or you could
Hmm.
build some chicken houses.
Huh.
But it
Wow.
was just the way that you could make a living on the
Hmm.
farm.
Hmm. Wow.
And still today, a lot, but without much industry around here.
Right.
Um, and if you don't know corporate marketing and you
Hmm.
haven't been out in the world to see that people
Right.
are searching for what we're doing right here. I mean,
Hmm.
what is it, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're building a fire and smoking pork and
Yeah, hanging
talking
out.
farming? Um, it's only because I can arrange a schedule around farming and we can do these things.
Hmm.
Definitely a paradise on earth, but that's just personal
Hmm.
personal beliefs about
Yeah.
how to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Farming's a pretty cool lifestyle. It's not for everybody, but man, it's pretty awesome. So yeah.
There's that other perk of farming.
What's that?
Other
The
people,
best
I'm
food in the world.
convinced. Well, no, yeah, there's that. I
We eat
mean, we
better.
eat really good.
We eat better than kings and queens, pretty much. I mean,
We,
it's
we
pretty awesome.
I've got more chicken wings. I don't know what happened today, but I whenever we're doing a long smoke like this, sometimes I take beef fat, stick it in a pan under here, render it out, and then take that tallow, put it into a big pan on the stove, and then deep fry chicken wings in that. Um,
It's
we do
super
eat
good.
good,
It's super good.
but no, uh, like 80% of the time,
Hmm.
I get a pee outside.
That's true. Yeah.
Like all these people come down, they're just amazed at how much space we have on the farm, but they realize they all either have to pee at home because they don't even have a backyard that they could go outside.
Right.
80% of the time it's in freedom out here.
I know it's pretty awesome. I love the privacy too. It's pretty awesome. I don't. Yeah. I could never go back to living in a city or my tiny Korean apartment again. Definitely not. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions about what we're doing or the smoking process, let us know. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you guys. And
Oh,
maybe after the
lem-
next time we check, we'll go walk around the farm. We'll show you guys some.
yeah. So what we're doing with the smoking today is we're trying to keep the smoker below 200 degrees, but maybe above 150. We want to get the meat up to about 150 or 160 over 3 to 4 hours. And we're really looking for color.
Mhm.
Um, we're burning a pretty clean kind of smoke right now. So if you got too much smoke coming out of there, it can turn dark, like really
Mm.
dark,
Oh.
as opposed to this mahogany look
Mhm.
that we're looking for.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
um, there's all sorts of videos from guys like Chud's Barbecue, Mad Scientist Barbecue. You can see those links like in the corner down here. And
Uh, not.
you
That's This is live.
yeah, just production. Get the editor back there.
Yeah.
Put it in the link.
We'll get the producer going.
Those guys all have all these YouTube videos. I mean, let's be honest, like most of my education here is not from generational stuff when it
Right.
comes to the kind of farming or barbecuing or cooking
Mhm.
or slaughtering animals or
Mhm.
doing any of that. It's from YouTube, a lot of my
Mhm.
stuff. And so I've been a fan for a long time of the information out there. Um, but that's what we're doing is we're trying to get it up to a temperature,
Mhm.
get a nice mahogany flavor, color on it, and then we'll put it in the fridge for the night and then slice it tomorrow.
Okay. Cool. And yes, what kind of wood do you suggest?
Um, my personal theory on this is I want to cook with wood that I cut on my farm.
Mm.
Now, I do have some hickory in here, and there's some ash in there that's dry. But generally, I'm going around in the wintertime and I'm trying to take these 5 acres of hardwoods that we never touched back in the day. So it's
Mhm.
about probably 100 years of growth. And it was super thick. And so I've cleared it out, but I'd like to make a silvopasture out of that area.
Right.
And so to cut the right hardwoods out of there that are leaning or crowding bigger ones, and then I'm
Mhm.
keeping that wood and then busting it here and cooking with that.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of theories on it, but my theory is whatever's local is your best.
Yeah, but people use hickory a lot. That's a pretty common one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Applewood. That's going to be expensive though to get applewood to pay for the wood for applewood. I would assume. I don't know if that's true or not,
Oh
but
gosh, there was like 20 years ago we had 5 or 10 acres of apple trees
oh
here
well.
that grew peach trees and apple trees,
Mhm.
and the frost hit so late sometimes here that you would
Right.
lose them.
Right.
So after having peach trees for 10 years and only three
Of your
crops,
yeah.
Dad said we're pushing those down. We're gonna make more pasture. Oh, if we could have just kept the wood,
I
like
know.
spent all summer just cutting wood,
Seriously.
stacking it up just for barbecue. But
Yeah.
who knew?
Yeah. So
Not me.
yeah. Um. Let's see. Hey, we got Steven from Lebanon, Tennessee. What's up? How's it going,
Hey,
man? We got a local out here. Have you ever raised bottle calf to slaughter on your homestead? Is it worth it or more economical to just buy a freezer cow?
ooh,
I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, once you add up your time, the amount of infrastructure costs, the this and the that, like if you're just gonna raise an animal for your own home for yourself, then I think it's probably cheaper if you're including your time to just buy the animal from the farmer that you know and trust.
hmm,
In my opinion,
yeah. Oh, for sure.
yeah. But if you want to do it because you enjoy it, you love it, like
Something about raising your own,
yeah, like there's something incredibly special about that. If you want that experience, then I wouldn't worry about the cost.
but also
Yeah,
I wouldn't start with a bottle cap that way.
yeah.
Like, because you're talking about on a calf, um, 18 months to get there. So a bottle calf means you're starting at like month two,
Right. Versus
16
yeah,
months
you
to
want to
go.
wean. You want weaned animals
You could go to
all the
another
time.
farmer and buy a 600 or 700 pound steer, probably,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're looking at maybe another 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
6 to 8 months.
It'd be a lot
Um,
easier, especially for your first time.
yeah,
Do that. It's so much
yeah.
easier.
Oh
Um,
man.
but yeah.
Then I'm just thinking about the infrastructure you'd need for a cow.
Mhm.
If you weren't set up for it, you'd have to be buying hay for the winter time.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot. There would be a lot to think about for starting with a bottle calf, as opposed to just starting with maybe you buy a what they call a cull cow in the industry. Cull cow,
Mm-hmm.
meaning an older cow maybe has one bad teat, maybe has a little bit of a limp, maybe they just need to thin out their herd, and so you could buy that cow, keep her for 3 to 5 months, especially from March or April
Mm-hmm.
until July or August,
Mm-hmm.
and then have that cow slaughtered, and then you'd have your own beef
Right.
from your land.
And you don't need hay because
You
they're
don't.
eating during the prime time season, and
Yep. It's a,
that's.
grass is growing all during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You could make sure that there's anyway practices that farmers maybe had.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing is good luck trying to find a farmer that
No.
does any kind of rotation.
Right.
But if they were doing weekly rotation,
Mm-hmm.
and you could buy a cow from them,
That's a step
then
above
then
that.
that would be a step up. But that I would definitely start there for
Mm-hmm.
your own beef, and then really I would say buy a pig first, if you're doing your own, and then or really chickens. But the
Yeah.
drawback to chickens that is the where you're going to slaughter them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing home slaughter, you can put pieces together from like community members,
Mm-hmm.
but having a centralized place for a chicken slaughter, you don't have to drive like I drove 2.5 hours to get
Right to
some
get
done,
there. Yeah.
and that's all day
Right.
there, and then you got to do a back trip. So
Mm-hmm.
pigs are easier.
Yeah. And yeah. So there's a bunch of thoughts for you. Yeah, getting into animals, it's a whole nother level of farming beyond vegetables, and there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more that can go wrong. And,
What they
but
should do
I'm not
if
trying
they're
to
in it,
discourage you.
yeah, no, please buy like a sheep, a cow, and a pig in the same month.
Yeah, don't do
That
that.
do that.
Don't
Like,
do that. Yeah.
adding species is just a whole nother routine you have to figure out in the farm cycle. Um, and so I just encourage people to start with one, um,
Mhm.
and then get good at the one for maybe 2 cycles
Yeah.
before you add another species. Because we were doing chickens and we were able to add pigs while I did commercial chickens, and did that for 3 years before we added sheep.
Hmm.
And then after the sheep came in, mom said, please stop adding more animals until we figure out these. And that's where we are.
Yes.
Llamas,
Llamas.
alpacas, though. Alpacas. We could have a hiking company if we had alpacas.
Yeah.
And then we could load the alpacas up and have like a glamping hiking
There we go.
setup where we could
Up. Yeah.
hike the stuff out there with the alpacas.
We need a Tennessee mountain man Sherpa.
That's right.
That'd be awesome.
Would you like to experience the
Ridge runner.
Conestoga wilderness while drinking maybe a little nice beverage and eating a steak from our farm?
That'd be a good
Come
time.
on out. We'll load
Come
the
on out.
alpacas up in the van and take you out there.
I'm sold. I'm going. Yeah, Yongun. That's exactly. Yeah, the Traegers. That's why the Traegers are so like popular because
Oh.
you just turn on the button on and you walk away. It's I mean they're pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I learned on a Traeger.
Yeah.
That was my first getting
Do
to
we need to
learn how
check
to
anything
smoke.
or we're okay?
No, we're still.
I don't know how to do this with the real smoker,
We're
guys.
still
I can
good.
do the Traeger. I can do this, but
Boom, boom.
I'm learning. How
It's
to
a
do
good
this.
way to learn how to barbecue, though, because we're talking, oh God, how much meat here? $800 worth of meat on the smoker at this point in time. Like, you don't want to mess it up. So
Yeah.
the Traeger is a good way to start learning
Yeah, right.
how to do it.
Right, and what it looks like. What is good when it's finished? What does it look like?
What's it taste like?
What does this say here? For sheep, how are they? Oh, how will they eat undergrowth versus grass? And then I have a couple acres of overgrown woods. Is there and some grass? A lot of tree saplings and weeds. I prefer sheep over goats.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the sheep undergrowth stuff, they'll eat all that. That's all really good stuff. The things I don't notice them eating are, I mean, if you put them in a high enough density in a small enough area, they'll kind of eat almost everything. They'll be forced to eat it, like my ironweed. They don't like it, but if I put them in a small enough area, they ate it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the trumpet vine, they eat the trumpet vine. If they like the tree saplings, they like. I'd say be careful when you do put them in your tree areas. Watch out for black cherry,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some other. That's the most common in our area is black cherry that has arsenic in the leaves, I think, or cyanide.
After it freezes and they
Yeah,
drop, and then
it has to either be freeze or the branch has to be snapped off. When the leaves are wilting, if an animal, a cow or a sheep, a ruminant was to eat that, they will die. It's very poisonous to them. But it's only in that case that the leaves are wilting. Anyways, I just telling you to check that out. But yeah, I
cool.
mean, you know, I'm I've mentioned this before. I like sheep way more than goats. The only reason to have a goat, in my opinion, is if you want dairy. If you want a small dairy animal, they're
Mm.
amazing. But if you want to go for meat, like a small meat ruminant, I think that sheep make way more sense. You're gonna have a way easier time selling the meat. There's hardly any If you're in America, right?
Yeah.
Hardly any Americans are gonna eat goat. Only certain ethnic communities are gonna eat goat. And if you want to sell, goat meat is very good. I've also read it. You can even have more nutrition than sheep because they are eating an even more diverse diet. Um, but I don't like that
Sheep meat.
they also destroy the ground. They will pull the roots up and out. If you are not on top of moving them, they are going to destroy your pasture. Whereas sheep are more forgiving. So yeah, but if you want to drop a bomb
Right.
on a place, throw some goats in there. If you got kudzu and brambles and like the worst garbage stuff ever, then yeah, throw goats at it. But otherwise, go sheep all day.
I'm in for sheep.
Yeah, I just
I've heard it say that goats get up every day looking for a new way to die.
yeah, and
And so
they escape. They're harder to train to electric. It's
and
just
then
yeah,
like you're adding another layer here because what will keep a cow in will not
right,
keep a sheep in.
right.
What'll keep a sheep in sure won't keep a pig in.
No,
And then what'll keep a pig in probably won't keep a goat in.
right,
So you got another even
yeah,
layer. I have
right.
that quarantine pen that's down here on the farm where when we get new animals, they go there.
Hmm.
And the pigs were the last one I sort of put over there as necessity, thinking, oh, I kept those sheep in for 2 weeks over there. No problem at all.
Right.
Yeah, we chased pigs around for weeks. It seemed like after that.
Yeah.
It was bad. I think we're on day, oh gosh, we might be on day 27. Day 27 of not chasing a pig around the farm where it was
Yeah.
not supposed to be. The harvest host, I'll come here and I tell them, now the little white pigs, I got some baby pure blooded mangalitas that are only about 6 weeks old right now.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, little white pigs running around, no problem. Don't worry about that. If there's a pig bigger than that, you call me. I want to know. We got to get that put up. Next thing you know, Rambo's like walking by their RV.
Oh no.
Could be.
I don't want to. You want to see Rambo out? That'd be a little scary.
He's
Oh
a
man.
gentle boy.
He's a good pig. This is a funny comment. Lesser Cylinder says, "Goats are a nightmare to keep in. Sheep are more like the Traeger of ruminants."
Oh, there we go.
I like
We'll
that.
take
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, that's one way to put it. Now sheep have their difficulties too. Definitely. I mean, each animal has its own difficulties, right? So, um,
Yeah.
but
Farm.
they're all
Our
doable.
sheep story, like we don't have all positive stories from
Oh yeah.
growing sheep.
Oh, I've got a nightmare story I haven't even told you guys about.
And then like this year I bought 10 American black bellies,
Hmm.
four ewes that were pregnant, and
Hmm.
one young female.
Hmm.
So only four. Had 7 baby lambs born and they were beautiful. And I got up every day and I got to go see my baby lambs. And then I went on vacation for a week and I've got these 2 Great Pyrenees dogs.
Hmm.
It's a good thing we're doing this in the afternoon or they'd probably be all around us. They're sleeping.
Sleeping,
They're
yeah.
asleep. Uh, but they were too young, I thought, to go in there with baby lambs. And so I kept them out, thinking I was doing the right thing. I go
Right.
on vacation for a week and I come back and I only have 10 adult sheep. All the lambs are coyotes. Got
So
all
bad.
the lambs in 1 week while I was gone because
So
my
bad.
dogs weren't in there. And then you have a situation where your dogs were in there,
Yeah.
but then you lost a sheep because of it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like, how do you win at this
I know.
sometimes?
It's
When we did opposite things, and you
yeah.
think we'd know next year, like this is the plan. Nope.
No.
No, we're all figuring it out.
Yep. Yeah. So I've been doing sheep for over a year now, and I've had 5 total sheep die on me. Let's see. Two were from parasites. So like the farms that I had bought them from, they had worms from that. Then they just didn't have the resiliency or the constitution to fight that off. Obviously, I could have used a dewormer. One of them I did try some ivermectin to see if we could try to stop it. But I've told you guys on my farm, I'm doing zero deworming. It, you know, I would only use that if I was trying to save an animal to harvest it or something. But no animal would ever be dewormed and then bred again in the future. They're done after that because I want a super parasite resistant flock. Um, then what else happened? The one that he just mentioned, Coe, my livestock guardian dog, killed one because I had the new baby lambs. He was in there for 5 days with them, no problems. He chased them around a little bit, but the problem with Coe is he's close to a year old now, I think. Yeah, almost a year old,
Almost.
almost. So he's just too young still. He's still in that puppy phase. He wants to play. So he's almost 100 pounds. 80 to 100 pounds now. So he doesn't realize his strength. He must have jumped on one of the lambs, broke its leg. I tried to save it, did some different things, but unfortunately it died. So that was an example of I had my dog in with the sheep to help protect, but then the dog killed the freak. So
Yeah.
I have Coe separated right now, and then once the lambs are a little bit bigger, I'm gonna put him back out. But and then the most recent one with actually Blake had to kind of help deal with. I was just on vacation in Costa Rica. We had an amazing time. I'll try to give you. I saw some cool farming stuff. I want to maybe make a video to show
Mm.
you guys. It was really interesting, like really cool fencing stuff. But while I was gone, my 2 rams were in a separate area. My last video or my live stream, I showed you guys the way I had like a single net that wasn't hot, and I had 2 hotlines on the other side. It worked great for a month. The rams never got out, even though the girls were right there. They never got out until I left and went on vacation. And what I believe
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening was both boys got in there with the girls. My sister says, "Hey, Steven, one of the rams is dead." There's no explanation. There's no wounds on the body.
Nope.
So the best explanation, the only thing that we can think is that they must have fought, and the Katahdin was the winner.
Because he wasn't by a fence. He wasn't laying in a
Yeah,
fence. He was just sort of in the
right.
edge of the field there. But
Yeah, yeah. So the only thing that makes he was super healthy. I had checked his FAMACHA, his you can check the parasite load
mm-hmm.
by the color of their eye. He was really good. Anyways, we believe that yeah, they must have fought to the death, and that is what happened to him. So my half St. Croix, half Katahdin that just made those babies, he's dead, unfortunately. So, anyways, guys, this is part of you know, the fun of animal farming. Actually, I love this quote by my friend Cliff Davis. He said, if you're going to raise livestock, you're also going to raise dead stock, or you're going to have dead stock. And that's just like the perfect quote.
That's true.
It's just so true. So if you guys want to get into animal farming, death. You will be a part of the death either by your own hand, by killing the animal, or by accident, or by something happening. So, but it's okay. This. It's part of the deal, and that's why farming isn't for everybody. Okay, we got somebody asking, what state are we homesteading in? Well, we're in Tennessee, but the state that you want to go to is so subjective. I don't really like answering that question because I don't like, I just notice like most people are kind of lazy in the way that they think about things. They kind of just want to copy what other people do, but I don't think that's the right move. You need to, like, what do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your business? Like, I don't know what you do for a living. Like, do you like cold weather, or do you hate bugs? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many factors. What is your opinion on the different state governments and the laws that they pass? So that's
Mm-hmm.
super important. There's so many things, like I can't just tell you these states, but I mean, because I don't know those things about you. So, but ultimately, what I think is what you need to do is, yeah, like all those things I just mentioned: government, freedom, laws, like the climate, all these different factors. You need to like take those 10 big factors and then lay that across the 51 states or whatever country you're in, lay that across the area, and that's going to eliminate a bunch of states. So that eliminated a lot of states for us. So we were just down to a few states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, North Carolina, but I'm kind of negative on North Carolina. They're just going to commie over there. So even though it's an amazing state, amazing land, and like they have a lot of good things going for them, um, but then like I completely cut out the Pacific Northwest and Oregon and Washington, even though those are incredible states. But for me, those governments are out of control. I would never move there. So there's so many things to think about.
Start farming where you are would be
And yeah, start farming where you are.
something.
And the thing is, you can have an amazing farming experience even in California or even in New York.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what state you're in. Like you can surpass all the BS that's going on in your state. Like there's always a way out. You have to they make you consent to whatever they're trying to do to you. And farming's great in Cal. Like San Diego is an amazing place to farm. It has like one of the best climates in the world. A customer base that's willing to pay the highest dollar. They like one thing that I dislike about Tennessee or the South or the Midwest is that mo- most people don't care about health at all. Like they have no concept of it.
Mm.
No offense,
Sure. No.
but
No.
this is what the most unhealthy Americans are in the Midwest and the South, and so your customer base may not be as big for regenerative agriculture, although it is
It's
it
why we
is
add
growing.
sugar on the bacon. Like
That's
we
why,
just
yeah,
sprinkle
that's
a
right.
little extra
A little
sugar
extra
on
sugar.
it. It's a southern bacon. Here,
That's
we're just
right.
gonna cover it in some
That's
sugar.
right.
We'll caramelize that with a torch at the end of it just for a little extra flavor profile.
Yeah.
Welcome to the.
So yeah, I guess that's my thing about that. But yeah, it's not easy to pick a place,
Oh
truly.
yeah.
And there's no perfect place. Period. Tennessee's not perfect. Missouri's not. America's not
Yeah.
perfect. Like Costa Rica. I was just in Costa Rica. That's an amazing place to live. Jeez. So, there's a lot of options, and it's very subjective, I think. So, yeah,
I'm gonna
that's all
stay
I'll say.
away from saying like, don't come to Tennessee,
Yeah,
because that's not true to me.
yeah,
There's a lot of movement of like
yeah,
people that are leery of that.
yeah.
But what I have found is that the people that are moving here because of the lifestyle that we can live
Hmm.
here.
Yeah, I think I've
And
noticed that.
and so it's not like they're trying to bring California to Tennessee.
Yeah,
I don't even see that. I
yeah.
don't
At
see
least
that at all.
out in the country, if you're moving to Nashville or you're moving to
Oh yeah.
Knoxville, maybe those people. I don't know, but it's just hard to know. And I mean, it's like you can't say don't move here. It's like,
No.
I watch well, and this is the problem for me. I'm from San Diego. Like I grew up in San Diego when it was still an amazing place before all these. I mean, before it got way too overcrowded. So I watched my own city and county get destroyed by everyone moving there. And eventually I grew up and I was an adult and I was like, everyone I'm meeting is not from San Diego. What the heck's going on here? Yeah.
Mm.
So, I've experienced the migratory patterns of people kind of ruining an area. And so for me, like, I moved here and I'm an out of towner. I'm not from here. And I'm like, I want to protect Tennessee. And like, don't come here. Get out of here. But, this isn't my hometown or anything. So, but, I don't really have the right to say that. But
Who
this is
does?
and nobody
Who
and who
does?
does really, right?
Come
This is
on.
this is America. If you're
We're just here to manage some land
if
for
you're
a
an
period
American,
of
this is
time.
your country. So yeah, yeah, please, just no government, no big government people coming here, please. I'll just say that.
There you go. I'll go with
Please
that too.
stop trying to control my life. How about
We just
that?
want to grow some chickens.
Yeah, can we just like farm and be on our land, just be left alone, please? Um, let's see what you guys said here. Let's see, Matt. Permaculture Habitat said, yeah, there are people homesteading in every state. It just depends on how long of a growing season you want, and if you don't like the cold, or yeah, I think there's so many factors. And I think that what I did, my wife did, we wrote a list. Like, what are the big things that we want for where we're homesteading, and then what do we want, what do we don't want, and start applying that to different states. There is like who made it? I forgot. If you just search like economic freedom list in America, I forgot who made that, but that's a decent list. It'll show you kind of like a breakdown of like, all basic laws and economic factors and economic freedom, all that stuff going on in each state, and kind of give you a basic concept of that. That helped me pick and choose between different states more easily.
Mine was a little different than
Yeah.
that because mine was being away
Right. Because oh
But
yeah, you
then
moved to
I
Louisiana,
moved to
right?
Louisiana and
Right.
lived in Louisiana down there in Cajun country. Had a lot of great friends still down there. But then when the farm got in trouble, it was the fourth generation here. Of
Mm.
like my great grandmother bought this place in 1929, right at the start of the Depression, and then they
Hmm.
were able to hang on with her as a widow with 7 kids. And then my parents buying it when I was young, and then just the thought of it going to the bank and being away
Hmm.
brought me back to go. They don't give away views of the mountains there.
Hmm. Definitely.
And so, because at Tennessee Mountain Farm, you can get a really nice view of the mountain over here at Chilhowie Mountain and Big Frog right between there.
Tennessee Mountain Farm. We needed some banjos playing and the whole deal.
I know. I got a cousin that may be writing me a little jingle with it
Oh my
there.
god. Um,
Hey,
this is
we're
good. Yes.
smoking good back here, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Steven says here, there's a perception that food should be cheaper and cheaper, but it's toxic. It's a big mind shift.
Ooh.
I told my mom what I pay for a whole chicken, and she almost had a stroke. Yes, Steven, I have noticed. I'm guessing you're more closer to my age or around. Um, because yeah, I noticed like the older, like the baby boomer, my parents' generation, like they're like the cheapness factor was like so big for food. Or I've been in a store and there's like I remember like a mom and her daughter, a baby boomer and like 30-year-old or something are talking, and they're looking at the peppers, and one person says, "Oh, this organic one's $1 per pepper," and the other person's like, "Well, this is 30 cents. Let's just get these." So that's like the mindset of most consumers in America, for example. But and that yeah, like we need that shift because pepper is one of the most pesticided vegetables or fruits. So it does matter
It does. And it's
to
not just
to go
cheap for now, like the
right,
healthcare costs are
right.
crazy.
Yeah, like
When it
I
comes
don't I
to
don't even
cheap
have
food
healthcare,
is
guys. I don't have health insurance. I don't go to the doctor. I haven't been to a dentist in 8 years. I don't have health problems. I don't have teeth problems. I don't have no problems because I eat a nutrient dense diet and I live a certain way. So well, that's like a whole nother topic, but
luckily for me though, you share that with me sometimes because we're all on a search for how to live a better lifestyle. And
yeah,
for here, like going through what I can cut out, like cutting out any high fructose corn syrup,
yeah, that's
if
huge.
possible, right? Every
Yeah.
now and then it's there,
Hmm.
but most time, cut it out. Sugar, for the most part, cut it out. And then it got to a point where I realized, well, mom makes really good biscuits and
Hmm.
gravy, and
Hmm.
okay, we can get milk from a local guy, and we
Right.
can get our own fat for that. So, but then it was the commercial grade flour that we grew up on. I'm like, oh, I know that stuff is just sprayed
Hmm.
with all sorts of things.
Hmm.
And so that led me to
Mm.
a mill over here in North
Yeah.
Carolina that's
Right.
Lindley Mills, and they make a super sprouted ancient grain that I can buy in.
Hmm.
And so we ended up buying it. We're buying it by the 40 pound at a time, two
Hmm.
20 pound bags to ship in, because then we can break that down into 1 pound bags and sell it to the people that come through here as well that are
Yeah.
looking for a more natural kind of way. But
Yep.
boy, you
It's
get
huge.
down those roads, it's like, oh, it's hard to get away from
It's really
processed
hard.
food.
It's really hard.
Really hard to get away from it.
It's years and years journey. I mean, I've been changing my diet and lifestyle for I don't know over 13, 14 years now probably. That I've been slowly making all these adjustments. Like you can't change these things overnight. It's like the bacon thing. Oh, I realized, oh
Hmm.
crap, like I thought I was eating healthier bacon, but I really wasn't. And now that I raise pigs, I can do that. This is many years down the line, right? Like that's not accessible for most people. But you start somewhere very small, like just buying the organic food that like makes a big difference, like peppers or potatoes or certain things that like are the foods that are really more susceptible to absorbing these poisons and holding it within the food that you're then eating or just switching to buying a half cow that's 100% grass fed versus buying from the store. And then if you have a freezer, that's actually going to save you money because now you're paying like now more like £6 dollars a pound for like the highest quality meat. And if you go to the grocery store right now, you can't get $6 a pound beef.
$8 a pound. Let's say
Yeah.
you're going to pay $8 a
Okay.
pound.
Yeah.
We're not going to sell it that cheap.
Yeah.
But still, if you go to the grocery store, here, like I go to Publix and I can get white oak pasture whenever I didn't have ground beef
Oh, they have it
from
there.
mine. They
Mm-hmm.
had white oaks here at our Publix,
Nice.
but it's $9 a pound
Right.
plus 10% Tennessee tax.
Right.
So we're at $10 a pound. So I'm thinking, oh, if I can get ground beef sold here at $8 a
Mm-hmm.
pound, I'm still saving people some money
Mm-hmm.
from what they can get. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it it's very much like a long journey to figure
It
out.
is. So just yeah, you got to just make these little adjustments over time because it's too overwhelming to be like to throw out all the food in your pantry and to do those things. But
Oh,
it's just little upgrades over time. I think the things that are
and
gonna
yeah,
that you notice bother your body the most, get rid of those first. So yeah, high fructose corn syrup, sugar, wheat, gluten. Those are gonna be your like number alcohol. Those are like your top three antagonists to your body. Which Blake's over
well,
here
okay, let's
hyperventilating
be
after that. But
transparent about this. When I take a cow off to get processed, I usually stop at the Hardee's on the way back to get a biscuit because if I don't, I'm not going to eat it anyway. I've got my cheats too.
yeah, nobody's perfect. I still eat fast food sometimes too, and it is what it is.
It is.
We occasionally,
Grow the best food here and then go get a Hardee's biscuit. It
yeah.
happens.
um, oh, this is interesting. This Stephanie says she came to from Virginia from the Pacific Northwest 10 years ago, and she's still acclimating to the humidity. But then yeah, so that's a great example. I hear that from people all the time. The weather is just like really bothersome. For me, I don't mind the humidity. I actually like the humidity. And I came from a dry place, but I also lived in Asia for a few years, so which was I thought even more humid. So I don't know. Like that's like another thing. It's like
Here's
it
my
doesn't bother me. The bugs don't
Stephanie.
bother
You're
me.
you're in Virginia.
Yeah.
It's worse here in Tennessee than it is Virginia. Just spend a few summers in Louisiana, and
Yeah.
Virginia is much better. Um,
Yeah.
it's still something to deal with,
Right.
and like
It's a factor.
for me too. It's that you got to base your day off of the right clothing and accessories when you go farming.
Yeah.
Don't wear flip flops if you're going to go catch pigs,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But for me, these UV shirts that are the
Yeah.
sweat wicking,
Hmm.
like they've made a big game change. Hiking pants that are a little airy but still don't pick up cocoa burrs,
Hmm.
like that's been a game changer. Steven and I are always discussing what kind of wet weather boot. My boots have
I know.
cracks in them now,
Mine too.
and so
But
like,
after a year, I can't get a boot to last
oh,
more than a year.
not anybody know a boot that'll last more than a year and waterproof.
Yeah,
We're
we've
we're
tried.
in for that.
So I've tried Hunters and I've tried Grundies,
I've tried muck
Muck
boots,
boot.
and then the like
I'm
muck
trying anything else.
boot sold to a company, and then
Oh,
the people that
what is that
sold
called?
went back and built another one,
Right.
and I got that at my local co-op, but I'm
That one
seven
sucks too.
months, 8 months
Yeah,
in,
it's
and
nonsense.
cracked. So here we are buying, but I'm gonna buy another pair of boots.
I
Like you
have
can't
to.
go through a
Yeah.
winter
That's,
without it.
yeah, it's really wet here in the winter, guys. So yeah, it's cold and wet, which is yeah, you need waterproof stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
so weather's actually, I mean, I would say weather is like one of the biggest things for people when I talk to them about moving or just like being from San Diego. People are obsessed with the weather and just like obsessed with good weather. And
Have you
I've
here
never,
lately? Like
we've
it's
had good
been,
weather here.
yeah, seven. Is it gonna be 73 today?
Yeah.
75.
Fall and spring is amazing in Tennessee. It's like it's like San Diego perfect weather, and then you get rain too. But
And we've
uh,
had 3 weeks of fall weather already.
yeah, it's been nice.
The leaves are beautiful for at least 3 weeks. And still there, so
What else did you guys hear?
brighter out here.
Okay, so here's another. Steven, I think that's the guy who said he's living in Lebanon. He loves Tennessee. He moved here from Indiana. I don't think I'll ever move. It's an amazing place and people. Yeah, I don't see myself ever moving. If I move from here, it means America's like in flames and like we got to get the heck out of here
Out of here.
or we're gonna die situated. Like that's the only reason I would leave. And even then, I don't think I'll just stand my ground at that point. Let's hope that doesn't happen in this country.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, my buddy Russ in San Diego. How long till you start talking with a southern drawl? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I don't know. I still feel like such a poser when I say y'all. I don't know. I try to say it like if I'm out in public because I want to blend in with the culture.
You
But
put the in front of the roads.
I'm getting better at that.
64.
I'm
Get
getting
on the
good at-
64. I'm like the 64.
yeah.
The 405.
Exactly. I'm getting rid of those thes. You know, maybe you can hear it on some words from me, but I don't know. I'm 35, so my accent's pretty
You're trying to get
stuck.
more used to the y'all. When do you throw y'all in there?
Instead of saying, "God, you guys,"
Hey, you guys.
hey, you guys. For me, like being, I don't know. I always felt like I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
I
Oh,
always
I could
like
have
the
said y'all right there. I'm
yeah.
trying, y'all.
Trying y'all. See, I like the southern accent when I was in corporate sales
Mm,
because
but like,
it would drop their perception of me from IQ. Like I was, they just presumed that I was less smart,
yeah, yeah.
and
People definitely
so
will do that. I think.
like I always love that because then you could sell anything to anybody. If they're just
They just
this
think
poor
you're
old boy,
just
I think
poor. You need some help.
he needs some help out here.
I'm just a poor country boy. I
Just out
just
here trying to sell this software, man. I'd like to make
that's
your day a little
funny.
easier if you don't mind.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Lester Cylinder's asking, now that you have more pasture, any interest in exploring applying Jadam to pasture level to help soil? I did a video on that. It's called "My Solution to the Fertilizer Crisis" or something like that, and I show you kind of like my first go at doing it on on my 4 acre field. You know, very DIY with not much.
I
So
spread microbes on this
he's,
front field that's
hmm
18 acres.
yep, we are
Uh,
doing that, and we're gonna document that more and more.
yeah,
So definitely. What are we smoking? Bacons, bellies, and hams.
bellies and hams.
Um, looking for a non-chemical way. Yeah, Jadam. So I would do on your fields, do some JMS, do soil treatment solution from Korean natural farming. Um, you could either fish amino acid or fish hydrolysate would be fantastic. Fish hydrolysate is probably the cheapest, like best liquid way you could get nitrogen out on your field. I'd recommend that if you're not trying to make stuff, you just want to buy it. Um, if you need to buy any Korean natural farming stuff, you can get it on my website, naturesalwaysright.com. I have a link in the description. I sell all the different stuff from XD Microbes, who I've partnered with since the beginning. And so if you need any of those things, should we? Does the meat need to be checked?
We
Or
need to put another stick on here, I think.
okay. And then we want to go walk around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna put some more wood on the fire here, and then we'll walk around, show you some more of Blake's farm. And if you want to see more of Blake's farm, check the video or hit the links I put for Blake in the description. And hit that like button, guys. It helps more people. When you hit the like button, basically YouTube will show that the video is live to more people, and then that's more chances for people to come in and hang out. Thanks for doing that, guys. I really appreciate it. So this is gonna be the Blake show now.
Ooh. So we should start by going down here into the glamping tent area. Well, okay, let's see where we are.
Oh yeah, let's see
color-wise. Oh, we're coming
Oh,
along.
mama. Yeah, look at that.
We're coming along.
It's looking good. All right. So yeah, one of the income streams Blake is building on his farm is tourism or farm stays. Now this is a great, for any farm out there, this is a great side income for your farm.
And I'm not trying to recreate a wheel or anything or make something up. I found this idea through a website called Tenter, where they were offering a glamping site way, like an Airbnb. So I set out to build this area where people could be on the farm and always be comfortable around, but undercover. And having this barn cleaned out really helped me get there. So come check out the inside of our glamping tent. With a queen size bed in here. There's a nice little light that hangs up there. We keep all the different charging port options over here on this. There's a heated pad on the bed, so you don't have to worry about the coolness. We've got a few different heaters in here. At nighttime, we had some visitors, and it was staying, oh gosh, in the 40s outside at night. But all the kids were just loving it in here and hanging out on the farm. So it's available on Airbnb and Tenter, and a few other sites to rent. You can have a campfire out here, marshmallows, all you want to for a farm experience.
Very cool.
And we also keep this zip down whenever no one's here so the Great Pyrenees don't get in there on the bed. You got to keep Sally and Wheezy.
Yeah, this is
Out
a
of there.
huge field that you guys have seen me at Blake's farm before. This is where all the animals are usually at, and all right.
With the field, not all pasture land is available for grazing all the time. And so with this field, I have to take the cows off of it somewhere around the last week of June and all the way until the end of August because there's no shade out there for them. And after it gets over 90 degrees, you've got to take the cows off the land. And so for those months right now, I don't get any grazing out of the land. It does let me build up a stockpile so that now the sheep have plenty going on even with the thing. But one of the things that I'm doing is planting American chestnut trees out there. And this next year, we're going to add more American chestnut trees and probably some persimmons and a few other different fruit and nut trees so that this big field will be covered and I can graze it year round with covering.
You know,
That's what, yeah. And right now I'm trying to build a shade structure for the cows. It's a reason maybe to have sheep instead of cows because a shade structure for cows, you can't have anything on the ground or they're going to put that 1,000 pounds into it and you'll have bent posts and things on the ground really fast where the sheep can't push on it that hard. But I'm working on a design with that maker pipe stuff you turned me on to for building a big cover over that, but we'll see. It's going to be a few versions of it.
yeah. So off in the distance here, you can see a couple of the huge chicken houses. And I think it's this one on the left or the right that you're going to convert.
The right
right.
one with the open door
Yeah.
is going to be the new pig barn
Yes.
area. We're going to take the one on the left completely down and put in RV parking down through there.
Oh, whoa.
So maybe 5 spots. So RV would have 100 foot, whereas a lot of parks today, they're in a 30-foot wide spot or something. So give them like a really wide.
So we're going over to the pig area right here. So if you guys want to see more about how this was built, I put a video link down in the description below. You guys can click on it and see in depth about the piggies here. So the curly-haired are Mangalitsa pigs, and the dark brown is Duroc.
The black ones are Mangalitsa too. They're just a different color.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, this one right here.
Here's some babies.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Blake's got so many pigs over here now. There's always, like, every time I come over here, there's new babies. So I think that's a cross. One of these in here is a cross. I think it's maybe that one. And then some more.
Red ones.
These red ones, yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So we can
saw
pull
that.
them out.
I saw that.
Is from the
Castration?
Castration.
There's a
Hernia popped out.
yeah.
And two of them it didn't. And I do think that it's because I didn't go to the Farmer's Almanac and look about what day of the month is the best day to castrate a pig. Because I've been to that before and planned castration around that, and there was no bleeding and no hernias. But this time I had the pigs here, and it was just time to actually like do it. Like I didn't have time to consult with the signs or what the almanac said, and just cut pigs. And sure enough, like 2 of them ended up with hernias. So they're actually going to stay in here for another week to heal up from that before I put them in the woods with the other pigs.
Nice.
And so, yeah, just look at the Farmer's Almanac, right? Those on a lot of these things, those signs work.
That's so interesting.
And so,
yeah.
so they're having a little bit of a struggle with it because of that. So,
Yeah, right. Oh, Steven, you're asking feed. He gets his from Resaca Feed. It's in North Georgia. Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
ACA
RESACA.
for Saka.
Your other option, I think, if you're the guy who said you're in Lebanon, check out the, so that's non-GMO, and you can get corn soy free and do that sort of stuff like
Mhm.
custom blends. The other option I think that's very good is coffee, Kentucky organic feed
Feed.
and da 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 da. Yeah, it's
KOF.
KOFFI. That's so all my organic feed, like my chickens, I get that for them. They they might do a drop. They come into Tennessee and they deliver and then they go back out. So check that out. Coffee.com or something like that.
Yeah.
It should come up. Or message me if you message me on Instagram or something. I can give you the link if you can't find it. So yeah, everyone's doing good in here. Where's Rambo? Somewhere else.
He's in between. You want to take
Oh,
him down
yeah,
there?
let's check it out.
We'll go grab another little bucket of food here.
And so Blake's got like a ton of different
Oh
pig
man,
areas.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4 different pig areas. Rambo's down here with 4 other females doing his cycle with them. And then on the other side, I have another 2 females with a Mangalitsa male that I'm trying to sell actually because I don't need that many of them. And then down in the woods where the piglets finish off, I have yours and my 2, and then 7 others that are half mulefoot and half Mangalitsa. And they started putting on their winter coat. Let's see. I'll go over here.
So here's the big tote he gets from Resaca. And this is a sow feed, I think.
Let's see. This is the grower feed here. So a non-corn, non-soy feed blend. The sows are getting a corn and soy just because the price is cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
For that, I'm not trying to eat them.
Right. Exactly.
Switching
nice.
over corn feed, like the feed of pigs. So I read this guy Walter Jeffries up in Vermont, I think, or New Hampshire area. And he's been doing pigs for a long time. And he wrote a blog about how to get pork fat to be something that would be like a really nice savory bite and not something that would just roll around in your mouth and globulate, if you will. And the theory was get rid of corn and soy in the growers, replace it with wheat and barley, maybe some canola. You're taking what would be big grains and simple carbohydrates down to small grains and complex carbohydrates. And sure enough, it creates a fat on the pig that will just melt in your mouth whenever you cook it the right way and bite into it.
Interesting.
And so, again, YouTube and vlogs and trying to learn. But it also costs more money to get a no corn, no soy product.
It does. But
Here he
I
is.
do think it's
Can
better.
we?
Ooh. Yeah, so this is the big boy. Someone asked $25 for 50 pounds of chicken feed. If it's organic, that's a decent price. I mean, I think I paid 23 for 50 pounds from coffee. I can't remember exactly, something like that. So yeah, that's about right. Non-GMO pig feed for a 50-pound bag. I get Nature Crest from my local co-op. It's corn and soy free. I think that was $14 for a 50-pound bag. That's pig feed. So this is Rambo right here. The pig that came from Cliff Davis, and Pig and Leaf is the name of his farm. He's in the middle Tennessee. And there's a video if you want to see the kind of the story of how we went to pick him up and brought him home. It's on my YouTube channel. But he is actually, I mean, he's way bigger. He's so much thicker than when we got him. Yeah, he put on another, I don't know, a lot more weight. His skull's even bigger.
He's still not completely grown out.
Yeah.
As Cliff called it, determinate growing.
Yeah.
And I think that he has another 2 years to get bigger. He's probably weighing in at around 500 pounds right now, maybe 550. And I really expect him to get to 700 or something before he's fully grown.
It's crazy. It's crazy when you get in there with the animals this big. It's just like, It's amazing.
I don't like to do it anymore.
No, that's dangerous. I'd rather be in with a big cow than a big pig any day.
Yeah. Like the red panels that are right here.
Yeah.
The first day I put him in here, the feed dropped down over here, and he couldn't figure out how to get to it. All he had to do was walk around.
Oh.
He got to a corner and turned around, and after
Right.
the second time, he put his head underneath that gate and picked it straight up. And did you get a bite on your leg? I thought I had one too. Yep. So pigs can move things.
Oh, that's what it was. God.
One of those woolly things?
Yeah.
No way.
those woolly caterpillars
No
crawling
way.
up my leg this whole like the last 30 minutes. I've been like, what is the heck is that? That's what it was. All right. Jeez, it started.
Oh gosh.
All right. Anyways, we're okay. So yeah, that is a little bit more of Blake's operation.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll head back over. But I'll show you guys I'll show you guys a view down here. It's like this upper part of the property is like 30 acres, and there's another 30 acres on down the hill or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's a big rectangle.
Yeah.
And then this past or 2 years ago, I applied for grant money from the NRCS to put in electric cross fencing and pressurized water lines. And it took a year and a half to get through this process, but they awarded me grant money to put in that. And so now that's what allowed me to take out all the barbed wire fence and put in these new timeless fence posts, along with the pressurized water line with quick connects down there. And so now everywhere on the farm, there was 5,000 feet of that we put in just through the NRCS grant money. So now everywhere on the farm that I have animals, I have access to live power and fresh water for them to do rotations around the farm in laps.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm gonna show you guys really quick. We'll get to see, but I always like looking at other people's land. It's always really interesting. It might be kind of hard to see, but this one. So you guys can kind of see down here. You can see, I don't know if you can see those white posts, but that's another run of timeless fence there. So on this side, so he can run animals on this side and that side, and divide up all the paddocks like you've seen me do with the reels. So infinite amount of paddocks can be created here, and those are your neighbor's cows, huh? Yep. And then he's got more pigs back here, and he's got even more pigs way off over there, in that wooded area. So
we have pigs for sale.
Yeah,
if you would like to buy a pig, I have 6 spots in December, and I have a few of those still left, where it's going to be a Mulefoot Mangalitsa cross. And I already have the processing days reserved at the butcher. They're probably going to be, by that time, maybe a 300-pound pig, 220 pounds hanging weight, and raised in the way that we've been talking about, where they're out on the pasture or in the forest right now. We're moving their paddocks just based off of their impact, but here recently it's been every 10 days to 14 days putting them on a new paddock in the forest. And then they got that water pressurized system to go with them.
Right.
So they have access to the fresh water all the time. So
nice. Awesome.
But if you don't buy them, that's okay. We'll keep them, and I'll sell them to campers here.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna walk back over to the smoker, and we'll keep hanging out. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or want some advice, load those questions up for me or super chat us, and we will help you.
This
So
is interesting, getting to like have people ask us questions on real time.
It's fun.
And
It's
talk
really
about
fun.
It. So that's
there's the machine. I think this is right. This is
windrow machine?
Yeah, so this is the machine that we're going to be able to use to make it IMO 5, or he can use to move all his chicken litter. So you can see there's like this auger on it, and then on once it pushes everything to this side and
that side.
or that side,
Yeah,
and then
so
shoves it off.
It scrapes this
Oh,
way.
okay. Yeah, you should
pulls
explain
it
this
all
on me.
that way. And then because there's hydraulic cylinders on this, I can tilt it up and down to be able to make a nice big long mound that's just the length of the chicken house.
Yeah, so cool. And then a huge box blade back there, giant.
Oh, I didn't tell you what else I did this past week. I got the Rhode Island red chickens that we're trying to figure out what to do with.
Oh, do you want to show that, or?
It's mostly roosters.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Yeah, we can walk through there.
Do you guys want to see chickens?
Yeah. We can look in both barns. I got some Cornish cross.
Okay.
That are going to be processed on Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
Tomorrow we're processing turkeys with Walter.
Oh, cool.
And so 40 or so of them. But
nice.
Then Monday or Tuesday we're going to process another 40 or 50 of these. I think I have another 150 for December that I might be taking over to underground processing.
Oh, for the sausage?
Yeah, to get more of that sausage made.
Nice.
But they may go a little crazy as we just go in here.
Okay. So yeah, you guys will get a very small preview of what it looks like when you enter a large chicken house. It's not going to be the same as it was, but
no,
definitely not. But
not at all.
Not even close. But it's still kind of interesting to see what it really looks like.
Are there people really watching this?
There are. There's 28 right now.
Oh my gosh.
We lost a few people.
Well, we've been wandering.
But that's pretty cool. There's 30 people walking around with us right now. That's a lot of people.
So I fed them this morning, but they're still going to be a little hungry here.
So these are the Cornish cross.
One about this size right here by next week will be ready to go get processed. And then the other 40 or 50 will be the week after that. Then there's another 150 down at the front, and then past that another 50 or 75 new babies.
Nice.
We got the windows open in here, so they are getting some natural sunlight in. But ideally next year these birds would be in a hoop house on the pasture where we'll be moving them. So
yep. But it's pretty cool.
And then look at all the open space they do have.
Yes.
You know,
so again, normally there'd be how many? 100,000 in this house?
25 to 27,000 in this one house.
And what we're looking at right now is a couple hundred.
Maybe.
Yeah, guys. So think about how crazy that is. That 25,000 birds can fit in this, and this is only a couple hundred of it. Anyways, it's pretty incredible.
There's a truck outside.
So the Cornish, yeah, just shut the door. Shut it. Just shut it. So yeah, the Cornish cross. This is what's raised commercially. Like if you know, your Chick-fil-A sandwich, it's from this type of bird. This is like the most standard breed that's raised throughout America for meat. They grow out extremely quickly compared to like a Freedom Ranger or some of kind of the more homesteading birds that some people like to do. So that's what this looks like. So yeah, in a commercial house, they have like all these are all the feeders, these red things, and it's fed by an auger in that tube that's connected all the way to the other end in a huge those vats, feed bin. This is a propane burner. There's water nipples right there, just like if you buy the poultry nipples for your I don't know what it has. Poultry nipples for your homestead setup. They're using that in the commercial houses as well. Oh, there they are. That's what the nipples are.
Yeah, underneath here.
Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, yeah, I think what's cool about this, we got to run out really quick so they don't follow us. because they see the light and they want to run towards the light and get out. So yeah, what I'm excited about this is that, you know, these houses right now he's just raising them conventionally, right, just on better feed. But in the future he'll be able to upgrade these further. He could make this a total KNF chicken house someday if he wants. You know, with this infrastructure that he owns outright, he can do whatever he wants with it now. So that's what is really neat. So he's doing lots of experimenting, using his commercial setup, but for just smaller scale, which is really cool because if there's other chicken farmers out there that have infrastructure like this, they could stop doing the commercial poultry, switch over to selling direct to their customers where they're going to make 10 times higher profit margin. You're doing more of the work, but if you sell direct to the customer, you can make a lot more money, and then you can do practices that are much higher than what's going on in just your standard commercial poultry setup. So that's why it's really interesting to me. And
Here's the
oh,
chickens out there.
they escape.
So on the back side of this barn, there was a door going to the outside, and I put up 100 foot of chicken netting in the center of it. And a few of them have gotten out, but the red chickens have access to in the barn and outside now.
Oh, nice.
And so hopefully I'll be able to cut in doors on this side of this house so that they can move each week to which area they have access outside to. We're just working on some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a free range chicken though.
Oh yeah, those are rooster. Yeah, it's just the Rhode Island's just, they just always look so much better than the Cornish cross.
Oh yeah,
There's something about those Cornish.
they're very hardy chickens too.
Oh, yeah.
The Rhode Islands are. Well, let's go check on our wood.
Right. So
The commercial
almost
chicken
back.
houses.
Yeah, so I hope that was cool for you guys to see. It was cool for me to see it when I first saw it. It's really interesting.
And I really am trying to work on an evolved way of how to do it better. Right. We're working next year on being able to bring batches of chickens in. We're probably going to take out all the feed lines and just feed by hand because it's not a lot to do. Make the pens with movable water systems that hook up to a pressurized line, and then be able to move the pens underneath each brooder on a weekly basis, so the chickens would be able to move up the house like they would in a pasture to be on new shavings. But then when they got to the end of it, I wouldn't have to go catch chickens. They would all be in a crate big enough for them, sort of, or container, and then bring them outside. And so, do I?
Oh no, I didn't want to show my license plate.
Oh,
Whatever.
true. Production can blur that out.
Yeah. Don't show up to my house, you'll get shot. So.
Okay.
All right. All right. Back over here. Oh wait. Oh yeah, look at that color.
Some colors coming on.
Dang. It's amazing.
We might flip some of these over in just a little bit, just to get them more even.
I'm gonna show you guys. This is it. This is the little. He just keeps feeding the wood. You got any tips on how to do this?
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
How do you know it's at the right temp? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I've got some. So it's a little warm here at the 250, but that's not crazy bad. It's just, open up things. Whenever it gets warm, you can open it. Anyway, no.
You just gotta keep watching it.
Yeah, just keep watching it.
Keep watching.
Keep practice.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, let me set this down, guys. Okay. See what you guys said. You guys got anything for us? How much longer do you think we got on that?
2 hours.
Oh wow. Okay. So we can do.
We can see however long you want to go here with this.
Okay.
See if we got any questions here, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'm trying to wake my computer.
Mine went kaput.
Should have. Yeah, mine might have as well. Oops. Well, we can do one more thing. Hello. Of course, I forgot my charger. I think maybe mine died too. I don't know. It's not coming on. Oh, there it is. Turned itself off, I think.
Come on, Steve.
Dropping the ball.
Oh, I was talking about Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah. Good old Steve Jobs. Well, guys, it's been a good day today. Hope everybody is having a nice day out there, getting some good work done. Hope you're listening while you're working.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're. Well,
putting headphones on for me is like one of the ways I get a lot of information. Like using YouTube and podcasts, but farming gives you a chance to pick up.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to
Listening
turn this
time.
around here. So give me one moment. Redo this a little bit. This is the only way I can see your chat. Okay. All right, let me scroll up a little and see what you guys said here.
Oh man, look at that.
Steven says, I get my stuff from coffee and it's good stuff. Nice. Yes, they're doing a great job. Okay, I think I saw these.
You know, there was a time where coffee delivered to my farm, even though I was buying Resaca. Some local people were buying it, and my farm has room for commercial trucks to turn around.
Right.
And so it turned out like the organic food was being delivered to my commercial broiler farm for a while, which just tickled me with the irony
funny.
of it.
That is pretty ironic. James, in Arizona, no, coffee doesn't go that far. They're in Kentucky, so I don't think they go further than Tennessee. They don't go further than Nashville. So, yeah, check out your local co-op. That's something that doesn't exist in San Diego or in Southern California, but exists all over the United States. Different farming-based business that sells to farmers. What kind of electricity costs does it take for that big of a setup? It's like this huge farm.
Oh,
you know.
yeah. Whenever I was running the commercial barns, the average electricity was $1,500 a month. That was average though, because in the summertime you're burning all the fans. There's 10 to 12 fans in the back of the house at 1 horsepower each. So in the summertime you're running 40 to 50 1 horsepower motors all day long.
Flip the camera. Sorry, guys. You've been looking at nothing. Here it is.
That's not nothing. That's a beautiful field out there. They've been seeing that. And so, yeah, it was $1,500 a month was the cost. Matter of fact, turning those chicken houses off saved me so much money. I could make so much less money and still make more profit when I turned the chicken houses off, because the revenue was, if we break it down to say $200,000 a year of gross revenue on that 4 barns, but I had to pay the bank $90,000 a year out of that, and then I had to pay $15,000 to $18,000 a year in electric cost, and then $22,000 to $24,000 a year in propane cost, and then $18,000 a year in insurance cost. And so when I got them paid for and turned them off, all of those went away, and all of a sudden I can make $160,000 less gross revenue, but still make more money because all that went away.
Interesting. A lot of overhead.
A lot of overhead.
A lot of overhead. Imagine if you had 25,000 chickens die on you, and you got that kind of overhead. You're done.
August the 13th, 2019. In 13 minutes, I had the power go off in one house with a bad breaker, and I lost 13,000 chickens in 13 minutes that day.
Oh my God.
It cost $25,000 out of the paycheck.
Yeah.
In that one day.
That's like insane. That's why the chicken business is so gnarly. One of the reasons. Oh, he said the fencing. Yeah, like how much electricity does the fencing cost?
Oh,
Well, not much at all, basically.
no. Matter of fact, if you keep your fence lines clear where it's
Right.
not pulling any amperage, then they don't cost anything at all.
Yeah.
When you start getting dead growth or grounding out, it costs a little bit, but it's a freezer holding the meat costs more than the electric fence.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I thought it might cost me money too to run the fence, but it really doesn't. Nice, Steven. That's great. You're doing your chicken tractor for the first time. How difficult has it been converting forest to silvopasture? We're still in the beginning of that process, both of us.
It's a lot of labor.
It's a lot of tree cutting. So my big problem has been it's not the cutting of the trees, selecting the trees, getting grass to grow. That's easy. For me, it's once you drop that tree, now I've got all this lumber.
Hmm.
I don't have a tractor. I don't have a sawmill. I don't have what the heck? Yeah. Yeah, you do, but then it's hard to move. Now I got to move that to mill it. Now I got anyways. So
Then you want to mill it. You don't really want to burn it,
yeah,
right? And if you do burn it, you want to make charcoal out of it.
right. So then
So it all causes work.
yeah, it causes a bunch more work. And yeah, if you have a tractor, man, it's kind of necessary if you want to do a bunch of silvopasture because I don't know. That's
You
been
know,
my bottleneck.
but that's also been like one of my roles. I feel like in this community now is that I have equipment and I have the stuff on the farm. And so when new people have moved in here, I'm happy to like, hey, let me bring the tractor over and we'll do a day's work,
Yeah.
something because it helps people stay in it. And the more I can help people come here, get through their first 2 or 3 years of farming, then they're probably going to stay. So
Yeah, that's Blake's been a huge help. Um, but yeah, silvopasture is amazing, guys. Like you got to do it if you have woods. I mean, it's just it's
Will
awesome.
Will Harris at White Oak Pastures 2 years ago set out to create more savanna type,
Hmm.
and they talked about how much they were spending on just planting trees to create it. So
Yeah, no, it's
there's like you can create out of regular empty pasture,
mm,
which is expensive, and then you can spend time cutting trees down
which
to make it yourself, and
that's expensive too because that's a bunch of labor.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
something fun to work
it's
on.
really fun.
Like
It's
me
really
and
fun. It gets the when I first read about it years ago, I was like, dude, this is the ultimate. Like you're creating your own ecosystem.
hmm
Basically, it's so cool. And then having animals and plants and trees all in the whole system. I mean, it's the ultimate form of farming. Like I can't, it's hard to mimic nature much further than that and still have a productive agriculture system. And that's what's so cool about silvopasture. Yeah,
yeah.
we're excited to keep doing that to our properties. Um, yeah, so that's all the
All right,
questions, guys. I think we're gonna chill and just relax and work on some other things. But thank you guys so much for watching.
this was fun.
This was really fun. Be sure if you guys want to learn more from Blake, which I highly recommend, check out his YouTube and Instagram down below.
If you want to stay at the
Follow him.
farm,
Yeah,
book through there.
yeah, hit him up
Come stay with us.
at Tennessee Mountain Farm.
That's right.
That's pretty flat.
Tennessee Mountain Farm. You gotta get
Almost
the.
All right, guys, have a wonderful day on your farm or your garden
Yeah.
or your apartment, wherever you're watching from. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Matt, for being a mod. Really appreciate it.